Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, your home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. In today's video, we're going to be providing an update on Upexi. This is a Solana Treasury focused company. We've covered them on the channel previously, and there's been some big updates since our last video. Before we get into it, take a second, hit the like button, guys. Big help to myself and the channel, specifically in getting this content to other people like you who may find value. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join and let us know in the comments section below if you're currently holding shares of Upexi and your outlook on Solana as a whole. With that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be providing an update on Upexi. Now, before we get into it, I did want to thank today's video sponsor, Outside of the Box Capital, for sponsoring today's podcast on behalf of Upexi. We've covered this company previously on the channel. Before we get into the recent developments, I did want to take a quick look at the chart. Relatively flat on the day. This is as of Monday, October 6th, just after open. However, if we do look at some longer duration or longer interval periods, you can see a respectable 32% increase over the past 5 days, 23% over the past month, and a very impressive 267% return over the past 6-month period. Now, the last time we covered Upexi on the channel, they were trading in the low 4s, so congratulations to anyone who's holding a position in this company. And with that being said, I did want to jump over to the company website and talk about some of these recent developments. Now, as we learned in our last video, Upexi is the leading Solana Treasury company. We've started to cover a lot of these DATs or digital asset treasury companies on the channel, ranging from Bitcoin to Dogecoin, Solana, Ethereum, really everything in between. They're starting to become very popular in the investment community, and we're going to talk about exactly why that is in today's presentation. Now, this is the corporate website, upexi.com. I'll leave this linked in the video description below as well if you want to go in and take a closer look for yourself. With the thesis behind this company really positioning Upexi as a new institutional gateway to Solana's speed, scale, and rapidly expanding ecosystem. We are a leading Solana-focused treasury company, purpose-built to help institutions capture upside in the most performant blockchain network in crypto. Backed by 15 of the most prestigious digital asset venture capital firms, we're unlocking access to programmable capital and real-time market infrastructure without the operational complexity. And we're going to unpack exactly what that means as we move through the investor presentation. Now, in terms of Solana itself, it's known for its leading speed, cost efficiency, and user experience components, along with developer and user adoption. Upexi accumulates locked SOL at a discount, creating built-in gains for shareholders, and then take this SOL to stake, earning a 7 to 9% yield in the process. So essentially converting this treasury asset or balance sheet asset into a productive asset. Now, you couple this with their large-scale proven accretive capital market strategies, acquiring, holding, and staking Solana, and this is really what delivers a digital asset exposure experience that you're not able to get as an individual purchaser of Solana, which combine delivering digital asset exposure through a familiar equity security. So this is really the first point we're starting to see with these DATs. A lot of people want access to these cryptocurrencies or tokens through traditional accounts, investment accounts, retirement accounts, and that's exactly what you're able to do, as this is a NASDAQ listed security that can be bought and sold just like any other stock. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, there's been a number of big press releases since our initial coverage in July. The first one we wanted to talk about actually came out on the 24th of September, providing financial results for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, and providing shareholders with a Solana Treasury update since the June 30 period. Now, if we scroll down to the financial highlights for the fiscal year, you can see total revenue came in at $15.8 million, gross profit $10.7 million, representing a gross margin of 67%, a net loss for the period or year of $13.7 million, and approximately 59 million shares of common stock outstanding as of September 10th. Now, in terms of the treasury update, you can see Upexi at this point now holding over 2 million SOL, up 174% from the 735,000 SOL they held on the 30th of June 2025. That gave them a net asset value or NAV of $433 million, up 281%, again, based on that June 30 snapshot. And a metric we're starting to see a lot in the DAT space is SOL per share, or the amount of digital asset per share of common stock, which came in at 0.0197 or $4.23 on September 23rd of this year, up 45% and 101% respectively as compared to the SOL adjusted per share of just 0.0136 or $2.10 on June 30th. So again, the whole idea with these treasury companies is to accumulate the underlying crypto or asset at a discount, giving them some sort of advantage or competitive advantage in the market, and then increase the amount or ratio of that underlying cryptocurrency, in this case Solana, compared to the number of common shares outstanding. Now, in addition to that, they also gave an update on staking, which was generating approximately $100,000 per day in revenue, again, putting that capital to work. And here you can see a nice little dashboard view of Upexi, the Solana Treasury company, with some of their key metrics, including the SOL Treasury, SOL price, net asset value, adjusted SOL per share, which we just talked about, adjusted SOL per share in dollar value, and the overall unrealized gain on their position. Now from there, I wanted to jump over to the investor presentation, again a refreshed look since our last video. And here you can really see an overview of the company along with their adoption timeline, really dating back to February of this year. And this really maps out the growth from their traditional or underlying business, which is a consumer brand owner, including LuckyTail, Cure Mushrooms, and PRAX, which is actually generating around $15 to $20 million worth of annual revenue, and about 20% of that flowing through Amazon. So this is an active underlying business that again leverages proprietary data and their technology platform to really support the development, manufacturing, and distribution of these consumer products. And that's another theme we've talked about in this DAT space, is it's important to have a healthy underlying business that's actually throwing off revenue to the organization, which can then support the growth or expansion of their treasury strategy. Now, in terms of the innovation or focus on innovation at Upexi, they were the first large-scale pipe for an altcoin treasury. There have been over 100 treasury companies to launch since, so really pioneering this space, and this first-in-kind convertible note that materially reduces credit risk. So we covered the management team in our prior video, really headed by Alan Marshall, CEO of Upexi. He's surrounded himself by a strong group of individuals with long-standing experience in their respective fields. Alan Marshall himself, over 30 years experience of M&A, and the founder of XPO Logistics, which is a $15 billion market cap company listed on the New York Stock Exchange, which is really what gives them an advantage in this crypto treasury space. Now you can see some of the other companies we've covered on the channel: Mara in the Bitcoin space, MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy, Thumbs Up, Strive, Semler Scientific, and Metaplanet. So all of these companies focused on that digital asset treasury strategy with various different tokens or cryptocurrencies. And I would say the growth of these is really attributed to some of the historical efforts and pioneering we've seen, mostly centered around Bitcoin, the benefits to shareholders, again, acting as a proxy to the underlying asset, and this flywheel phenomenon, specifically with those tokens that are able to be staked. And this is actually a great slide, again, from the investor presentation, talking about this capital markets flywheel and the ability of these DATs to accrue a multiple, issue capital intelligently, and in turn drive higher stock price. And here you can see a visualization of Upexi's NAV, or net asset value, over time, with any equity raise above a 1.0x multiple or ratio being accretive by definition. So for those reasons, you guys, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on Upexi. You can see some of the key differentiators listed on the screen here, including top management, first mover advantage, capital markets expertise, and that focus on innovation, all of which we covered in today's presentation. So make sure to drop a note, specifically if you're already holding shares of this company as well. If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button. Again, a big help in distributing this video to other people who may find value. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, and with that being said, we'll see you back here in our next video.